What's up, everybody? I'll be right there. Well, good evening from San Francisco. I'm going to stop this. It's the live stream here on a Saturday. Forgot what day it was. And that's what happens when you work in sports. Your Saturdays are like most people's Tuesdays. And your Tuesdays are like their Saturdays. But here we are watching the A's and Yankees, game 3 of a series. And you know what? At this point of Oakland's campaign, you just want them to make games interesting. Even if you win or you lose, you'd obviously prefer the victory, but just make games interesting like they did last night. Yankees scored 3, one swing of the bat. A's made it interesting late. They had one run from the, 5th or 6th, the Jonah Bride solo homer. Then they manufactured a run in the bottom of the 9th. Ultimately lost 3-2, but again, just make it interesting here down the stretch. Appreciate everybody being here, by the way, and I will jump into the live chat. Isaac is a Giants fan. Isn't your team playing right now? But thank you so much for being here. Hello. Timothy is watching from the empty lot in Las Vegas where Henderson Park once stood. Did you take down your model ballpark? I think I need to hear the story on that. Mao to Meow watching from the People's Republic of Berkeley. That's well said. I like that. Colby, yeah, you must have heard when I jumped in there on the mic and said, I'll be right there. That was the tease. Marty T is out in a field harvesting some wheat. Is that for real? I mean, in this day and age, it's not, right, unbelievable. It's not surprising that you would be in a field. Cell service is everywhere. YouTube is everywhere. It's technology for you. Laura is in Los Angeles. Hello, Laura. I remember you just from the Avatar alone. You're a big hockey fan. Colby also in Los Angeles. So a couple 100 miles to the south. Oh, Timothy moving to a new house. Okay, so the ballpark is not being taken down for good. It's only moving. That's good to hear. Interesting time of year, right? Baseball, depending on your team, either winding down or ramping up. The NHL season is right around the corner. Football preseason, I know those games have been going on for the last couple weeks, so that's on our doorstep. And then eventually the Warriors are going to start up a new season and try and defend their NBA title. We haven't been able to say that in a couple years. Am I going to watch the NASA launch on Monday? Oh, love from Tampa. I appreciate that, Jimmy. You know what? I was not aware of a NASA launch. The hard thing about like being a space, I don't want to say fan, but connoisseur, I appreciate space missions and all that stuff. I'm never really up to speed on the schedule. I always feel like I'm reacting to watching, oh, this just happened today. I didn't know that was happening. I'm always reacting instead of knowing like you do that there's going to be a launch on Monday. So you know what? I will be watching for that. I did not know that. Marty out in the field. What are you, plowing some wheat? What did you say? Harvesting some wheat. The GPS is great. Machinery drives itself. So then what are you doing out there? On a tractor probably? It's like an airplane, right? It does the work. You're just monitoring it, making sure it doesn't tear up too much of your crop or do the wrong thing, right? Cam Spam. Thought about going to the A's game today, but I'd rather save my money for the 2 giveaways the next homestand. Are you wearing a Padres hat? You got a Padres swag chain on there in your avatar? You know what? I really want to make sure that we get the word out about Sunday, the 11th of September. Obviously, unfortunate historical date. And I also do realize it's at the very beginning of the football season, but on that Sunday, second Sunday of September, right? Dave Stewart's number is going to be retired at the Coliseum. 34 and his name go up in Oakland forever. And I hope the crowd is sizable. I know they'll be passionate, but I'm hoping for a combination of both. I really want Stu to have that day be special. He deserves it. And I think the fans, you know, so long as, like I said, so long as they know and so long as everybody's aware that's what's going on, I think they'll show up in large numbers. So I look forward to that for Stu. Isaac, now wait a second. You're in Los Angeles, but you're a Giants fan? That's dangerous. I mean, in a way, it really is dangerous. How's Curtis? You know what? I know he and his wife, Amy, had their annual charity golf tournament. Looked like it went well. They always do a great job and put on a top-notch production and presentation, but I haven't talked to him since then. So we will chat soon enough. And also, I'm going to see if I can get Brownie to come on here and do a little, chat on the live stream eventually. Wait a second. Jimmy J saying it's going back to the moon. Since Apollo, it's called Artemis 1. At 5:33 in the morning on Monday, I might have to record that. I don't know if I'll be up in real time. We have a day game on Sunday. Tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. So, and I don't think I work on Monday. Maybe I could get up to watch that. Wow, wait. NASA's going back to the moon? See, again, I'll find all this out on Monday, like after it's happened. Let me know if there's a good resource to keep up on, like space news and missions and things like that. I don't really know where to stay ahead of the curve, so to speak. Marty's on the tractor. Watching you, dude. You have to manually probably turn the tractor at the ends, like while you're harvesting the wheat. Kind of like landing and takeoffs. I like it. See, and I would have thought you were driving the whole time. So you know what? I get it now. It's harvesting on autopilot until you do the manual parts. I get it. So it takes away a lot of the busy work that you would normally be doing. But I have to say, when I turned on this stream tonight, I don't know where I'm finding a lot of you, what you all are doing, like right now on a Saturday night, 6:47 p.m. here in California. But to know that Marty is out there on what I'm assuming is a tractor or whatever harvests, and I apologize that this is not in my wheelhouse, but you're harvesting on machinery watching this live stream. That's awesome. Where are you, by the way? What state? In the West? Or are you somewhere in the Midwest? Be curious to know that too. Padres first, A's second. Well, Cam Spam, you got Bomel as our common bond. And you know what? I guess I could be A's first, Padres second. I chose them as my National League team. I like the Mets too. I've always liked the Mets, even going back to when I was a kid. I don't know why, and I especially like them because they're not the Yankees. But I can relate to that, and I hope, honestly, I would love to see San Diego represent the National League in the World Series. I obviously selfishly like to see him win it all, but that'd be great. A beardless Trevino is somewhat soul-crushing. Well, how about last night when he had the number 50 jersey on, and he almost came in the game that way until somebody said, that's Jameson Taillon's number 50. You wear number 56. So then they switched him. That was pretty crazy. I've seen something like that before. It's not the first time, but it's always hard to understand, like, what, how, why? Yeah. How do you put on somebody else's jersey? And then did Jameson Taillon? I guess they have multiple copies of jerseys, right? They have duplicates. So it's not his only one, but he must have said, well, didn't I have my jersey here? When he went to go grab his. Catcraft, what do I do between pre and post-game shows? Well, You're looking at it. On this evening, I've come in here and I've decided to do the live stream, which, by the way, hit me up with the Q&A. I'll take any questions anybody has out there right now. That's what we're here for, is the Q&A. But you can't see it on the screen. You can see the reflection on the glass over there. Just over this computer monitor right here, this multi-view screen, is an 80-inch television, and while I'm doing this stream, I'm watching everything happening in the baseball game. Now, I normally keep score. I don't have my scorecard right here in front of me. It's over there. Otherwise, I would show you that. But I keep score, diligently watch the game, try to research any stats or things I think I'll need for the post-game show. But I have to tell you that, doing probably 115 games this year, and a lot of times doing 5 in 6 days, or 6 in 10 days, or 7 in 12 days, or whatever. I mean, it's a high volume a lot of times. Sometimes it's 7 in 8 days. But on the day-to-day, I mean, so many things get put in my brain. There's not a lot of research or studying up to do here for games. Other than consuming them, trying to figure out the trends, put things together in real time. Basically just watch the game really well. Watch the game in a detailed fashion and be ready for the post-game show. Baseball's different than hockey. Obviously, baseball, we do a pregame show. We're here for a couple hours with no real responsibilities. In the 7th inning, I have to go downstairs and do a quick little tease of our postgame show that goes live on TV, but that's it. In hockey, obviously, we go back in the studio for first and second intermission coverage. So you stay really busy in hockey during the game, like on TV. But here in baseball, it's pretty much just, trying to be productive in other ways, like doing a live stream. Sometimes I'll make another YouTube video. But the most important thing is that I'm watching, observing, documenting, maybe even speculating a little bit on what's happening in the baseball game, so that in our post-game show, ready to talk about anything at any given point. Brutus, heyo. Look at that mod to mod right there. Brutus and Caker Girl back to back. Sup, y'all? Caker, I saw your boy Timo was part of the NHL's Media Day shoot in Paris. And I would assume that he's probably going to hop on a jet and fly across the Atlantic any day now. Usually by the beginning of September, the European Sharks players like to be out here. So I will try and connect with him here on the YouTube stream, see if I can do an interview when he's over the jet lag. Oh, Artemis won. I'm going to have to look this up now. You know what? Give me a second here. Artemis won. Artemis Scott. He's a former American football wide receiver. That's not what I was looking for. See, I can't even find any. Are you sure it's Artemis? Oh, Artemis won. See, okay. Here we go. Oh, they are going to the moon. How about that? Here, let me just pull this up here. How to watch the Artemis 1 mission liftoff to the moon. Make this bigger here so everybody can read it. For the first time in 50 years, a spacecraft is preparing to launch on a journey to the moon. You mean to the moon? Although there's no human crew aboard this mission, it's the first step of Artemis, the Artemis program, which aims to return humans to the moon and eventually, land them on Mars. The Orion spacecraft will enter a distant retrograde orbit of the moon and travel 40,000 miles beyond it, going further than any spacecraft intended to carry humans. Okay, so sounds like they're going to get a little bit more risky than ever, and they'll do it without humans just so that, if you lose equipment, you lose equipment. Crews will ride aboard Artemis 2 on a similar trajectory in 2024, and the first woman and the next man to land on the moon are slated to arrive at the lunar South Pole in late 2025 on the Artemis 3 mission. So we're, okay. So in the next couple years here, we really will be on the moon. How about that? See, and that's something I did not know before this live stream started. Love it. Thanks for the Jimmy J. Thank you for the info there. How come this year there isn't that much people going to the Oakland games? Ivan, I think that has been documented. There's uncertainty, obviously, about the A's. Are they staying? What are they doing? I mean, they're putting their foot forward, their best foot forward in trying to stay in Oakland. That's a difficult process. By the way, we should do a whole separate update video on that sooner than later. City Council comes back from their 5-week recess early this upcoming week. The 31st, I think, is that they're back. And then September 20th is that next big City Council meeting, and hopefully by then they have something to analyze as it relates to a development agreement and a community benefits package, and they can move forward with maybe taking a binding vote in the month of October, maybe even some point in November. It's just, it has to happen here by the end of 2022. It really does. Have I been watching any of the IIHF women's tourney? USA is kicking butt. 10-0 over Japan, 6-1 over Finland. Kessel and Taylor killing it. Kendall with 5 apples over 2 games. I love it. You know what? I just have not been able to... I'll tell you this, actually, because I was thinking about it the other day. Beyond baseball at this time of year, and having a son who's gone back to school and everything else going on, like personal life, professional life, I barely have enough time to properly devote to covering baseball as I do, but I haven't got into hockey yet. And people will talk about the Sharks and the upcoming season. I mean, I can put a little bit of thought into it, but I can't really put full-time thoughts into anything hockey yet. And here's what I really wanted to get to. I say this every summer, and then I always fail on it. Every summer going into fall, I say, you know what? I'm going to wake up early on weekend mornings, and I'm going to watch some EPL soccer, some Premier League. And I never can do it because baseball season, I'm up late the nights before. It doesn't make any sense. And then, with Twitter, I pull up the phone and I can already see that Chelsea lost their match. So I'm not going to go back and watch that later on, but I really need to do a better job of actually someday committing to getting into the EPL a little bit better. I know that was not the question at hand here. Sorry, I'm sidetracked. But I think it just goes to show I've had things that I've wanted to get into over the years, or I've wanted to follow along with a tournament like this, and I just run out of time. So good for them, though. Not surprised. It's a strong program. Let's go Dodgers. Oh, how about that? This was for the Giants and Padres fans in this chat. It's fine by me. Padres are my number 2 team, but Dennis Mitchell, nice stream. Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate that. Oh, NASA's space flight on YouTube, great news source. All right. Oh, Dennis is in Pittsburgh, home of the Primanti Brothers sandwiches. You know what? Pittsburgh is underrated as a place to visit, as a sports city. I've been there a handful of times, obviously, for hockey. And I think, for other things too. Baseball, like the All-Star game was there, mid-2000s, I want to say. I think I went to that. Pittsburgh, it's not, how should I say this? It's not thought of as some places like Chicago or Nashville or, and I think Denver is underrated too, to be perfectly honest. Seattle's probably underrated. Pittsburgh, maybe I should do a video on this. Most underrated sports towns in America. Because when you think about it, L.A., Chicago, I guess, but L.A., New York. What are the other big ones? Maybe Dallas, people would throw that in there. But I think there's like not a second tier, but maybe it is a second tier. There's a next level of sports cities that are not billed as top notch. But in my experience, in my opinion, if you go there, they are. Caker Girl could only stay for a second, but wanted to stop and say hi. I appreciate that. Mets are high up on your list, too. Love you some Taiwan Walker. It's your local AHL team's 10th anniversary this season. This is T-Money TCG. And I'm glad I'm a season ticket holder. Our first game of the season was revealed. I got it. As a big catch in the Des Moines River. A barracuda. What? Wait. Are we playing here? Are we serious? I'm trying to figure out. I'm a season ticket. Our first game was revealed as a big catch. Oh, so Des Moines is playing the Barracuda? Is that what you're saying? I don't know that I'd seen their schedule yet. I have not seen Team USA for the Baseball Classic. No, I've not. I don't know that to be revealed yet, or I don't know. Again, I'm just so consumed in A's Yankees here. Scoreless in the bottom of the fourth. That's where I'm at these days. Who's my NCAA football team? You like Boise State and you currently go there. Well, if you're watching from Boise, hello to all you potato heads out there. I went to San Jose State. I love the fact that they're always an underdog. In some years, they're a bowl team. I can't say that I have any allegiance to any college football team or program. I've had an interesting change of thoughts on college and college sports as I've gotten older. In the last 20 years, since basically I've been removed from those 4 years of higher education, it's college itself, such a business, and college sports definitely has been a business for a long time. And I think that's starting to be revealed or at least understood more because players can monetize their name, image, and likeness now. I mean, that's been legalized. So I like thinking about college sports because it's young men and women and they're just starting to blossom into who they are and they're really good at what they do. And if you're watching them here, you might be watching the start of a terrific rest of their life and career in whatever sport they do, whatever they're really, really good at. So it is kind of cool to see somebody up and coming like that and to think that it's genuine and authentic. But when I just think about the business side of it, I don't know, it kind of spoils it a little bit for me. Don't get me wrong, it's sports are sports and not holding any of this against the athletes. I think it's the bigger picture theme of it. I don't know. I don't mean to dump on college sports, certainly. I'm just saying that I used to think of it way more fondly than I currently do. Oh, Marty is close to Medicine Hat, Alberta. You're almost in Brownie's neck of the woods. Yeah, is Medicine Hat close to the border of Saskatchewan? Crazy. Oh, Edgard. At the moment, you're in Rio. You're in Brazil right now watching the live stream? That is fantastic. How much wood would a Howard chuck if a Howard chuck could chuck wood? You just wanted to hear me say that. The Botox I got for my migraines kicked in yesterday, and my eyebrows now only move about 1 millimeter vertical, says Dylan. Is that's kind of out of nowhere, not going to lie, but thank you for sharing. You're in Boise, Idaho right now. Artemis. Did I say Artemis? Artemis. Yeah, I'll get it right. Alicia, just wanted to say hi. You're going to be going to your first Sharks home game in February. Getting excited. Well, it's only half a year away. February, right? So 5+ months, but that's awesome. I'm glad you're already knowing it, looking forward to it. Candy Williams. See, I've said this before too. And as a person who has a, different first name and last name, I mean, I'm not Joe Smith either, right? I get so nervous that I'm going to pronounce that wrong, and I'm so sorry, because in my mind I'm like, all I can see is your face going, nope, that ain't it. Try again. So I apologize for what inevitably there was some type of mispronunciation. You give the A's a 66% chance of staying in Oakland. And on the surface, right? If I said, well, there's a 66% chance we're going to go have lunch right now, or there's a 66% chance that you're going to win the lottery, you'd feel pretty good about that. But it's those other 34% that keep you up at night, and to know that when a baseball team leaves, they do not come back. That would be the end of baseball in Oakland if the A's left. I've been starting to think, more deeply about it as we get closer here to a resolution. I think it's only natural to consider all the possibilities, what could be really good, what could be really unfortunate. And I'm not saying, I'm not even saying I agree or disagree with this estimate, but at some point, right, there is a percentage that is accurate. And there are certain percentage points that would say that they might be done in Oakland. And it's any one of those percentage points, whether it's 5%, 15%, or what you're saying here, 34%, all of that makes me feel uncomfortable. And I've said this before, it's on a personal level for me. It's on obviously a professional level for me. I want to keep doing A's pre and post game shows. I don't know what happens if they're not around. For me, or personally, and for a lot of people, I just don't know. And I've tried not to let my brain go there. I've really tried not to obsess about this. But let's face it, as we get closer here to September, October, November, an election where the mayor in Oakland's going to change and some new city council members come in, and baseball really puts the pressure on the A's to, hey, finally get something done here. It's go time in a lot of different ways. And if things don't go, somebody goes away. So I'm not here to confirm or deny your percentage, but I think what my point is that any percent that they're not staying is enough to make me feel uncomfortable. I mean, even if you said it's a 95% chance that they're staying, well, what's the 5% that they're not? And what would lead us to that unfortunate conclusion? Is it things not working out here? Is it an agreement that can't be reached? Is it misinformation that sways the project? Like what is it that would make this not happen? And I look at Oakland, in a snapshot and say, they deserve this. They deserve a pro team that's literally trying to buy into the city and root themselves there and at the same time benefit the city and the county so much. Oakland needs to hit a home run with this too, right? And that's what the city council is mulling over right now. How do we really hit this one out of the park? But I think what's important for them to remember as we get down to them ultimately making some decisions here, because the ball is eventually going to be in their court as soon as we get an agreement here to analyze and then to vote on. You want to hit a home run, but you realize hitting a grand slam requires the bases loaded, and then hitting a home run. Just get a home run, because it's better than a triple, a double, a single, a walk, a strikeout, grounding into a double play, getting hit by a pitch. A home run is better than all of that. And a Howard Terminal Ballpark for Oakland is a home run. But I get the sense sometimes that in their minds, it's got to be walk-off grand slam and extras. That's the only way, that's what Oakland wants granted, and they should push for it. I understand. It's business. They're negotiating. Do it. But at some point, know that, unless you got ducks on the pond, you can't hit a grand slam with only runners on the corners. It can't happen. It's not possible. So I want Oakland to hit that home run. I want them to win. Swing for the fences, please do. But don't make this deal not happen because you can't hit a grand slam with it. And I know that they're relying heavily on getting a lot of that federal money that otherwise would not be coming in if it weren't for infrastructure improvements. And to be clear, that's going to get clouded into the whole conversation of public money in a project. The money is not going to the actual project. The money is going to improve infrastructure in an area that desperately needs that improvement already with a ballpark or without a ballpark. The money is not going to build the ballpark. The A's are going to build the ballpark with their own money. So let's clear that up right away, because it is so frustrating when you see it portrayed inaccurately. So I went a long time on that, but you push my buttons there. 66%, it's just something to think about, something to talk about, for sure. Who do I think will get sold first, the A's or the Halos? Look, the Angels are considering a sale. The A's are obviously not at that point. The Angels have had it rough. From 1968 to 2011, they as a franchise have only made the playoffs 9 times in that span. And since 2011, more than 10 years, they've only made it once in the Mike Trout era, 2014, and they got swept that year. Kansas City, right? Isn't that amazing? They have struggled when it matters most. This year, they thought they were putting it all together. Ohtani, Trout, Syndergaard, Rendon, Iglesias as their closer. They thought they finally had some answers. Here we are now at the end of their season. They're not going to the playoffs. Even with expanded playoffs, they're not going to the playoffs. Trout's been out with the injury. Ohtani's been obviously performing well, but he can't be happy or thrilled about the situation. They trade Syndergaard. They get the mayor of Anaheim to resign because of their little arrangement agreement that turned out to be corrupt, to try and buy all that land around Angel Stadium and remodel it and make their own ballpark village. So that totally imploded. And you would think if, that could have been in retrospect the last straw for Artie Moreno. And now all of a sudden that, they're considering a sale, they're just stuck in the mud that I don't want anything to do with this anymore. That team has spent, and gotten a lot shorter off than the A's have over the years. Like the A's have gone way farther, way more times than the Angels have. Without Mike Trout, by the way, and without spending as much as the Angels have. Ryan checking in on the Super Chat, which I greatly do appreciate. And let me just say, as I always do here, the Super Chat funds this channel, which is completely self-produced. I don't get any help on it, so there's a lot more things than you would know about necessary to, keep all this gear and the live stream running and having it look and sound nice too. So Ryan, I really do appreciate you being here on the Super Chat. As for your question and comment here, I wonder why the Yankee fans are at the Coliseum watching this game when they continue to make fun of the stadium. How about this, Ryan? I understand that Yankee Stadium, the old one, right, torn down years ago, but in its final decade or two was in really bad shape. Yankee Stadium 1, was it 1 or 2? Are they on 3? No, I think that was 1 and this is 2. I don't know that there was an original, a really old Yankee Stadium. Anyway, Yankee Stadium 1 was literally falling down. It was rusting over, and parts of it in the left field area were falling down. It had to be completely restructured. The Coliseum is at least not falling down, knock on wood, up to this point. So teams, it's amazing how teams and their fan bases quickly forget the struggles as soon as something new is assured. And Giants fans are right up there on the list. First off, some Giants fans were not Giants fans when Candlestick Park was around. Excuse me. They're newer to the party. So they don't remember how bad it was of an experience to watch a baseball game at Candlestick Point. And my point here is that Yankee fans, man, I've really choked on something. Yankees fans seem to have forgotten how bad their old stadium was before New Yankee Stadium. I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back. Actually, you know what? Here, I'll put it on this camera. I'll be right back. Oh, that is way better. Wow. Oh, wait a second. Did I leave everybody hanging there? I forgot to fade up from black. There we go. Okay. Back. Yeah, I was just choking all over myself there. We got top 6 at the Coliseum. We got no score. We don't have many hits. As in 0. As in a pair of no-hitters. Uh-oh. Is that change? Oh, no. Cabrera just doubled into right center. So Adam Oller just gave up his first hit of the night. All right, so the Yankees are not being no-hit anymore. But the A's are. Hopefully they can change that. Anyway, sorry, where was I here? Ryan, to the point. Yeah, it is amazing how some teams forget. Their fan bases forget what it was like in the struggle as soon as they get something new. And then they make fun of it. And, oh, yeah, they forget, So, good point. All right, I'm going to zip through as many other comments here as I can because in one inning, I got to go downstairs and make some television. How is San Jose different from Monroe, Louisiana? I mean, humidity? Can we start there? I don't know that I've been to Monroe, Louisiana. So give me 1 second. I got to go shut this door now. I just realized it. Nobody down the hall wants to hear me live streaming loudly. Although I don't even know if anybody's here on a Saturday. I don't know, Charles. Good question, but I just don't know. What are some benefits if the Athletics move? New stadium, new budget, or just a new market? Jillian, I wish I had all those answers for you. Certainly 0 benefits to Brody Brazil, but who cares about me? Or any fan that's grown up on the A's from the East Bay. Yeah. They will get a new stadium. They will have to have a different budget and a new market. But I don't. This is a whole separate video. I think Las Vegas can support pro sports. That's not the question anymore. I mean, that part has been proven. But over time, over decades, and also the everyday nature of Major League Baseball, it's so different than 41 home hockey games a year or 8 Raiders games, which not all of those even sold out last year. So it's interesting. It's hard for me to say. I mean, again, it's hard for me to consider benefits. Like the A's, do you see the Rays getting their stadium situation resolved? And do you think it's easier or harder than Oakland? You know what, Jimmy? And that is a great thought because similar situations, different elements and circumstances, I think the A's are farther along than the Rays are. And I'm not an expert. I'm not up to speed entirely on the whole Tampa and St. Pete thing. Oh, how about that? Oakland just picked off Cabrera right there. So back to no base runners again. I think the A's are ahead of the curve a little bit on that, but it's they're both. You know, you're relying on city government. You're relying on other people with not the same urgency that you have to get something done and to get the right things done. And so that's what makes it frustrating. And at some point, the A's and Rays, like, this is Major League Baseball top priority material here, that they get these two teams settled, squared away, and finalized. Pittsburgh is a great sports city. Uniform colors, that's right. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, you want to go to PNC Park. That is a great ballpark. And that's the other thing. Everything's centrally located. You know, I'm definitely going to do this video. The top 5, maybe even top 3 underrated sports cities in America. I think I could easily put that one together and have some really good things to say. Question, does anyone actually believe that the reason Evander Kane's grievance hasn't happened yet is because the arbitrator isn't available? Why do you think the NHL hasn't scheduled a date? I literally think that's what's been explained. Or if you're suggesting there's some trickery with it, I don't know why. I mean, I would think everybody wants to get this squared away, right? The Sharks, Evander, the league. I mean, it benefits everybody to move past this, right? To get it resolved properly. So I think, and I too agree, I don't understand what's taking so long, but I would think somebody would, you know, with so many different parties involved, if there was something fishy going on, I think that would be called to attention. Unfortunate, but not fishy. How about that Little League World Series? See, I can't commit to anything else besides baseball these days. Are my DMs open on Twitter? They are not. And it's no offense to you or anybody else. It's just that I can't. I think they might be on Instagram, although I don't ever routinely check them. And then sometimes I do. I look for 5 seconds and see that I missed 65 messages in the last 2 weeks alone. Oh, you're talking about the AHL opener. All right. Let's see here. When I moved from Chicago to LA, I was still a Cubs fan. Are Oakland Raiders fans still Raiders fans now that they're in Vegas? Yeah, believe it or not, Bob. And I don't necessarily relate to it. You know, I didn't grow up as a Raiders fan because they didn't exist during my childhood here or my formidable years. They came back in 95, and by that point, I mean, I had already grown up on watching Joe Montana throw touchdown passes to Jerry Rice. So I can't say that I would have been extremely loyal to them leaving again to Las Vegas, or even the first time when they went back to Los Angeles. Cameron watching from Brentwood. Am I going to work on Sharks opening night? Well, opening night is actually going to be opening morning. Their first 2 games are in Prague of the Czech Republic. I think they're 11 o'clock starts on like a Friday in the morning, on a Friday and a Saturday. And I'm not sure if we're doing those games yet. And then the home opener is the week following that. It's a Friday night hosting Carolina and Brent Burns of all teams to open it up. Pretty sure we'll be there for that one at the very least. But the Europe thing I don't know about yet. Redmond, Washington in the house. Appreciate that. Oh, Alicia's watching from Massachusetts. Let's see what else we got here. What's happening with the federal and state grants Oakland is working to get to pay for the infrastructure? James, great question. As far as I know, things are being lined up. I haven't been able to figure out the exact math of how much is now necessary, how much is for sure coming in, and when is it coming in, and does that satisfy everything? This is what we're waiting to find out, by the way, with that meeting on September 20th. The financial analysis, and that's going to be key. But what's happening with it? and this is the challenging part, right? Oakland said, and the A's initially wanted to have the ballpark fund all the infrastructure. The tax revenue from the ballpark would take care of the infrastructure. How about that? Cal Stevenson hit one all the way to the warning track in left center field, almost left the yard, but the A's are still scoreless. Anyway, as for these grants, Oakland said, well, we'll do this a different way. We'll do a little bit of an IFD, but just one, not two of them, and we'll get all the rest of this money through grants and federal monies and things like that. But that's hard to do, right? But some of it has already happened, I know. I just don't know the full amount and to make sure that it covers everything necessary. Okay. And by the way, Gen X of the X, you're right. Biodynamic headphones are awesome. These are the DT770s. The 990s are really good too for, they're open back for listening to music and doing some editing. But when you're recording, these closed backs, these 770s are awesome. Okay. Appreciate everybody. I got to actually get back and do some real work now. Catch up on my scorecard, which is not going to have a lot of hits on it so far. And eventually do a post-game show. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I feel like I gotta give you some music to play out on, right? I can't just... There you go. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your Saturday night. Be safe.